Everybody.
Hi. And bring up the show notes. Ready? Freddy?
Yep. Let's
All right.
do it.
Coming up on UPH, tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
The dice is right.
Luigi's rolling a death stare.
Roll that beautiful poke footage.
And more on this episode of Unbelievable Power Hour.
Want some rye? Of course you do.
Hello and welcome to episode 22 of Unbelievable Power Hour, your mind-blowing source for video game news, previews, and adventure. I'm Dan DeHaan, and with me today is my gaming jabroni, Aaron Wiesinger.
Thanks, Dan.
You're a jabroni.
It's me, Aaron.
Is that what a jabroni is?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
How's your week, Aaron Wiesinger?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
You were telling me before the show that you went to see X-Men: Days of Future Past.
I did.
Sounds like a Christmas movie.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes.
I would probably be more excited to see a Christmas movie than X-Men again. I had high hopes going into it, and my hopes were dashed a little bit. It's not a terrible movie, but I thought it was just kind of bleh.
Aaron, this movie is rocking a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to agree to disagree, Monsieur Rotten Tomatoes, because I thought it was just a pretty average superhero movie.
What didn't you like about it?
It felt like there wasn't a really clear, concise, maybe not even concise, just a clear overall storyline. Jumped around a lot. I know that's sort of inherent with time travel movies, but I don't know. It's like the same reason why I didn't like X-Men 3. Why I think X-Men 1 and 2 are by far like the best of any of the X-Men movies. Like they're very, it's super easy to follow, and not that that always has to be the case, but it all seemed to make sense, and it felt like a good storyline. They weren't throwing in a ton of like secondary characters toward the end, and it didn't feel as jumpy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now, the reason it doesn't appeal to me is because I don't like movies where they mix generations like that. For instance, we discussed Star Trek Generations.
Right.
I didn't like that whole thing where there's like time travel and suddenly the old wisecracking crew is with the younger crew,
Right.
and you get to see them get the job done together. And
Yeah.
so that it doesn't appeal to me because of that.
Yeah. What do you think about the other X-Men movies, though?
I think the first two were decent. I don't know if they hold up the same though anymore. I think Marvel has really changed, and I'm talking about like Marvel as in they now make their own movies basically.
Right. They got their studio.
And Fox owns the rights to make movies for X-Men, and Sony owns the rights to make movies for The Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know if they hold up because there were just movies done like Iron Man changed everything as far as what superhero movies are supposed to be.
Right.
Also, I think the Dark Knight movies changed, everything too. So there's two kind of approaches to making superhero movies, and the X-Men has been done better, I think, since then. So I think it set everything up to be where it's at now. It was the pioneer for great superhero movies, but
Sure.
it's just since then been done better.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing we were talking before the show, like how you gotta at least respect those movies for the time they came out, like
Yeah.
The original X-Men, the original Spider-Man. They came out when like everything before that, the CG that was in the movie was awful, and it was like a full-on like this movie's pretty good. And I remember being real excited about Spider-Man when it came out back in the day.
Did you ever see the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie?
No.
It is terrible, but in a very fun way. Also,
Yeah.
it is worth a watch. But I would also say that it is more entertaining than the proper Fantastic Four movies,
Yeah.
the more recent ones with Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
Alba.
Was there only one Fantastic Four movie?
There were two, because I think Rise of the Silver Surfer was the second one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think. Is that right? I think that's right. Yeah, pretty sure.
There was a second one with Silver. Yeah.
I'm going to put my
I don't
money
think I
down and
liked
say,
either of those, though.
yeah, they were both kind of dumb. I was not a fan of Michael Chiklis as the Thing.
Uh-huh.
It's clobbering time. I actually thought the Thing makeup in the Roger Corman version was better
Really?
than the Thing makeup in the big budget Hollywood adventure.
I just thought it was too campy and just bleh. For
Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
But the Avengers, I watched that again. I think that's a good one. I liked it.
I really like the Avengers movies. I think Iron Man movies, like the first one, still holds up really well. I think that's like definitely a classic that will be around for a long
The third
time.
one tripped up. I did not like. I felt like it jumped the shark with the kid and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, you introduced a kid into the movie, and now he's working with a kid.
Right.
Yeah, to solve a mystery.
Yeah.
Might as well give him a mystery-solving dog too, a detective dog.
Wouldn't it be great if it just totally turns into Scooby-Doo? Like that's the creation story, the origin story for Scooby-Doo.
So.
An arc reactor powered van.
So what else is going on?
Right now I'm planning my trip to the U.S. So in about a month, a little over a month, I will be stateside for about 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
My original plan was to come out in August, but I'll be coming out with my girlfriend I'll be coming in on the 19th, so I'll be there a little bit longer. So yeah, that'll be awesome.
You're coming early?
Yeah, a little bit early because I've got
Sweet.
different vacation time.
Oh, and then she's going to follow?
Yeah, she'll be coming in 3 or 4 days later.
Cool.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. And I'm not sure if we'll be able to do a show together while I'm there, but that would be cool if we could.
Why wouldn't we be able to?
I'm just not sure like what the plan is once we're actually there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So that, and I guess along with going to the U.S., I am excited about getting my 40K miniatures and bringing them back.
And bringing them home?
Yeah. Because I really miss painting that little stuff.
So basically that'll fill up
your
your apartment.
Yes. I won't bring the excuse me, the 6x4 table back with me, the 100-pound behemoth table.
Yeah.
But I will bring back my paints and miniatures and stuff because I really like that hobby.
Bring them back rectally, right? So they don't get
Yes. Gonna balloon that. It's plastic, so what are they gonna detect?
Plastic and pointy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. How about you? What have you been up to?
I've had a pretty crazy busy week. I mean, it's been good. I continued watching more Frasier. The Frasier marathon continues. I think we're on season 9 right now, maybe just starting season 10. And I have concluded Frasier is not only one of the most underrated sitcoms ever made.
Yeah.
it is also one of the greatest sitcoms ever made. And
I
I'm
won't
going to
fight you on
stand
that.
on that. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
we'll move on. I just think the writing and everything is spectacular.
Yeah,
And so I guess it's not a surprise then.
yeah. It's a funny, smart show. And how many seasons were there for it?
11.
You.
And so far it's keeping rock solid. I will add that I think Friends is the most overrated sitcom ever and one of the worst sitcoms ever. I
Absolutely
hate
agree.
it. It is the dumbest.
Yeah, so many people love Friends.
I know.
It's
I
gross.
know. It's annoying. And it's like so many people have terrible taste in
Yeah.
everything. Oh, but Ross is so funny. Will Ross and Rachel ever get back together? I hope so.
I just don't care. Kind of dumb show anyway.
Also continued my love for Marvel Dice this week. I've got a problem with Marvel Dice, and it's addicting.
Oh.
I love the collection aspect of it.
Uh-huh.
I've always been a collector. I've loved collecting things.
Would you
I
say a
used to
hoarder
collect
or a collector?
pencil collector.
Okay.
I used to collect pencils as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dumb thing to collect.
Maybe you're a super nerd kid. A different pencil for every subject or something.
Hey, look, here's a Garfield pencil that I have. You want to see the others?
Let's trade.
I've got like 400 pencils.
This one's super rare.
And they were all had designs on it. They just weren't a bunch of yellow number 2 pencils. I've got the biggest collection of number 2 pencils in the world.
Kind of would have been better.
Creepier. And this one I got on our trip to... I found this one at a gas station on the floor.
Dan's a special child.
He loves collecting. I collected Garfield stuff. I was a huge Garfield fan. I collected that for a long time. Collected baseball cards, basketball cards, football cards.
You really were a collector.
More specifically, I collected Nolan Ryan. I loved Nolan Ryan. He was my favorite pitcher, and
Yeah.
I had a good 100 or 200 cards of his. And I collect video games, apparently.
Yeah, but now you are not just a collector. You are a finisher of video games.
I am the finisher. That's what they call me.
There goes Dan. You know what they say about him. He finishes things.
Google Dan the finisher, Dahan. You'll see what I finish.
Wait, what?
Awkward.
You mean like a Finnish carpenter?
Yes.
Like you complete things
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
So I'm I'm interested to try this Marvel Dice.
It's a good game. So, anyways, the collecting thing, the dice. I love the dice in the game. It's not so much the cards or the rarity or anything like that. It's the dice.
Yeah.
I love the color combinations and everything that they do. Every card, every superhero has their own color
Yeah.
combination, and I love it. I love the way the dice look. I have this little organizer that has all the dice in it, and I just love it.
Can we talk about dice for a little while?
Yeah.
I mean, not a super long time, but I think we
As
should
in the Dice Man, Andrew Dice Clay.
Yes. No,
Google-
I'm talking. Google what?
Google the Andrew the Dice Man Clay
Okay.
to see what he finishes.
Oh, gross. I am right there with you when you're talking about dice because I was trying to explain. I think it's inappropriate to call it a passion for dice because it's really weird.
Yeah.
But in 40K, like, you have to use tons and tons of dice, and Chessex is a dice company. and they
Yes.
make like these little cubes full of dice and
Yep.
like all different color
Yep.
combinations, like clear ones, opaque ones with different colored like dots on them. And I am sort of obsessed with those. Like I feel like it's this primeval part of my brain that's like it's like fascinated by the shiny, pretty things. And like using them in the game feels really satisfying when you get a good dice roll as opposed to getting a good like flip a card. It's like when you roll a dice and you get a good roll, you're like, man, that's just right on.
It's because of like when you play a card, you don't shake the cards in your hand and then throw them and they tumble. It
It just
flips
makes
to.
everyone mad.
I hate the way Dan plays cards.
Yeah, let's play Magic. No more.
It's that whole like warm up, that whole ritual of throwing the dice and then they tumble and then will it land on the right one? And that's the thing too, is that there are just multiple possibilities with that one die.
Yeah.
And with a card, it's like you lay it down, that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
there is suspense to know what card it is, but there's
Sure.
just so much more action involved with dice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with you. It's like look at how exciting it is when people play craps and stuff like that, when they
Right.
throw it across the table and in every gambling movie where then they have that close up against the green felt where the dice are in slow motion.
Right.
And then everybody cheers. But I think that's the excitement for dice. And I think if you love colorful dice, then this game is for you.
Nice.
Let me just explain the game real quick. It's a lot like Magic the Gathering in a way, but with dice. You've played Quarriors, right?
Yep.
It is Quarriors, except
Okay.
better, I would say. In my opinion, it's better.
Mhm.
They're in Quarriors, you buy dice and you're building a better bag of dice,
Right.
rolling them, and the goal in Quarriors is to survive an attack.
Mm-hmm.
So you attack the opponent, knock out their dice. Your dice have attack and defense properties, and you want to knock out their dice and survive. So then you can score those dice on the next turn. Well, in Marvel Dice Masters, it's just that you're trying to attack the other person. So you're trying to knock out their blockers and get through to attack them. Each person has 20 life.
Okay. So it is very Magic-like in that way.
Yeah. And then in Quarriors, there is a stage where you cull the dice. Any dice that score, you can cull, and that means just basically get rid of your crappier dice. You don't get rid of any dice in Dice Masters. That step is also completely skipped.
Yeah.
Same thing, you have all of these cards that are your heroes, and they all have different modifiers. So I have Rogue, and Rogue, if she is in the field, and that is you pay an energy cost, and that puts your people out in the field that they can attack or defend. And she can, if she's in the field, I can spin down someone else's die in an attack. So each hero has 3 levels of attack and defense on the die. The other 3 sides of the die are energy. Spinning down would be that if they had their level 3, so it's their highest hit and their highest defense side of the die, I can spin them down to level 2. So that's a modifier. And then every superhero then in the game has their own modifiers. They also have then different levels of... So each superhero, I think, has like about 3 different cards that have different properties on them. So you can say, okay, the cost of this Spider-Man is only 3, or I can go with this other Spider-Man that has a slightly different modifier that is a cost of 4.
Right.
So you can choose then between superheroes what level you want to play with and what their modifier is. So there's a lot of variety to the game.
They're all the same hero. It's just what, like you said, different modifiers they have on them.
Yeah, like so they have a common version of Spider-Man, an uncommon version of Spider-Man, and a rare version of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and you know, the rare version has a little bit better, modifier.
Yeah. But this isn't. It's not like Couriers in that it also like Dominion. You're all using the same like set together.
When Brittany and I play, we have this one set. You buy a starter set.
Yeah.
And from that, we draft our heroes then. So I'll have 6 heroes. She'll have 6 heroes.
Okay.
So no, you're not playing from the same set. Like, as far as during the game, you're not like, you can't buy from the same set of dice.
Right.
You're buying from your own set of dice that you chose, and she's buying from her set of dice that she chose.
Okay.
There are also, though, action cards in the middle that perform different actions that you can buy, that everybody can buy from the same.
Yeah.
And then there are booster packs too, and those are all 99 cents. You get 2 cards and 2 die, and so it's cool. I think it's like Magic the Gathering doesn't appeal to me because I like Magic. I think it's a fun game.
Yeah.
But if you want to play against other people, you have to put a ton of money into it, and you have to get, the rare, or are they legendary cards? I don't know if they're legendary.
I'm not sure how they qualify them with things.
So you have to do that. In this game, you don't have to.
Yeah.
It isn't as reliant. You don't have to go buy the booster packs.
Yeah.
A lot of it's just kind of like you can make do with what you have. The only thing is that I would say is buy booster packs so you get more dice.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do what I did, go on eBay and get a bunch of dice. Because there are people that are just selling like a lot of 20, Marvel Dice Master dice.
Right.
So I think this game is so cool, and it was a lot of fun. It takes a few games to like get in to know just what to do with it. Like, same thing as I'd put it at the level of complexity of Magic. It takes a few games to realize, now I got to do this, or there was the first time we played, we were like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Oh, we're doing it wrong.
Right.
But
yeah,
ton of fun.
I guess like the thing along with that and Magic is I don't think that like bringing out expansions concerns me so much, is that they space that out well. I mean, like when Magic originally came out, I think the core set was out just by itself for quite some time before I think Ice Age was the first major expansion. And then it was like maybe 6 months to a year that the next expansion came out. And then they started doing it like every few months was a new expansion. And that was at the point where it's like, you can't afford to be good at this game.
Yeah, it is. It's Magic has become... I think they do like Magic 2014 comes out, and then 6 months later they come out with the official expansion to it, and then 6 months later Magic 2015 comes out.
Yeah.
It's too much to stay on top of, and that's why there are a lot of hobby shops that host tournaments. They have different tournament style of play.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's even one where you can't bring like the legendary cards or something like that. Or no. I'm sorry. It's like a draft thing. So everyone gets an envelope of cards, like pre-sorted cards and stuff. So it's kind of a level playing field that people aren't bringing their own decks.
Yeah.
The host, the tournament host, is providing the cards.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to keep those when you're done with the tournament. So part of your fee in the tournament is, buying those cards. But
that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's an issue for a lot of people, and so they've tried to accommodate that way.
Yeah.
Also, Magic has come out with self-contained decks.
Yeah.
So it comes with 2 decks and that kind of thing. That was actually the first Magic deck I ever purchased, was a more self-contained deck.
Yeah. Last
So,
time I was home, I remember I got one of those because just sort of hitting reset because it'd been so long since I'd got any cards at all.
yeah.
So.
Now, I think with Marvel Dice, it gets a little tricky, like, because it's one of those things, and Magic is probably the same way, where, someone says, all right, I'm attacking you at this point, this much, and, and then not so fast, I have this card that says, if you do this.
Right. Yeah.
Basically, you're only keeping track of 6 cards, though.
Okay.
I have just 6 superheroes out, and so I just have to keep track of those, so it doesn't get crazy or anything.
Okay.
So
That's the maximum that you can have is 6 superheroes.
you can play. There's a couple tournament style. I think is 8, and that's just considering. All right, this game, your superheroes, so you
Yeah.
play this enough that you don't have to keep track of by reading the cards.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then just a normal play is 6.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a good time.
Yeah.
We'll
Sounds
have
super
to
fun.
play that. And one more thing this week, I went to play disc golf. Have you ever done that?
I have. It's been a long time.
Do you like it?
It's okay. I'm not good at it. I mean, like,
yeah.
I was just chasing it all the time.
I like it just because I like kind of hiking and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I went and disc golfed last week.
Where'd you go?
And there's a place in Kalamazoo Park, right behind the fire station in Ashtamo. And my disc went into the woods. I went to retrieve it. I bent down to pick it up, not seeing that there was a stick protruding from the ground.
Yeah.
Jabbed into my eye.
Ugh.
It was awful. My eye, I think eyes are pretty quick to heal. My eye has healed as far as because it was really swollen and bloodshot and gross looking.
Yeah.
Probably took 4 or 5 days before it looked normal again.
Yeah.
And my vision is still a little blurry in that eye though.
That's
So-
like right in the middle of the.
No, it was right above.
Okay.
It hit eyelid and eyeball.
Ugh.
And it was it was frightening.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Zombie?
No.
Or Zombie 2, I think it's actually called.
No, I haven't.
There's a classic scene where a woman gets a wood splinter in the eye. And that's all I can think about when it happened. Have you seen the movie Unhappy Campers?
It's funny you should mention that because I was just about to bring that up.
There's a classic scene in that movie. YouTube.com/unhappy campers, everybody. All right, let's move on to the weekly playlist. All right, everybody, it is time for our weekly playlist, and this is a segment of the show where we talk about the games we've been playing. I have been playing Mario Kart 8
For the Wii U.
for the Wii U. Have you seen the video, the meme, the animated GIF of Luigi?
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
Flippin' hilarious. I love it.
He's got some attitude.
He does. Those eyebrows are stern looking.
Impressive.
Expressive eyeballs.
Yeah, he is not pleased with his fellow drivers when he's going past them. To say the least.
So, all I've really got to say is it builds on the greatness of previous Mario Kart games. It's Mario Kart fun. I've always loved Mario Kart. This one, I love it. The new tracks are great. They have a ton of tracks. I think they have 4 like main circuits. Sorry, not circuits. Circuits is it might be circuits. I don't know.
Yeah.
Groups of tracks.
Like when you play the
And-
cups, or is
Yeah,
that
the
different?
cups.
Yeah.
And then they have 4 more that are all like retro remade tracks also. So, there's like 16 tracks, I think.
Yeah.
Nope. There's 32 tracks.
Wow.
32
It's a
tracks.
double.
Yep.
pretty good.
And that's a lot of tracks, and it's good. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like solid, and they have done a great job with the online stuff. Is better. It runs smooth. I played some online. Love that. I like, it's just a little thing, but they now have coins in the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you unlock more characters, more vehicle enhancements or whatever, vehicle alteration stuff kind of things. And you can collect coins on the track, and and that unlocks, say, a different glider for your car, different tires,
Right.
those kind of things. So yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say other than it's just solid and fun. I
Yeah.
played some split screen multiplayer also.
Nice.
Always good. And
I mean, is there anything that's like, aside from the big graphic overhaul to it, like, is there one thing in particular that's significantly different about this update, or it's like just a really good version of Mario Kart?
I would say each one they have kind of their truck stick, like Madden does. Each season, that comes out, there's like the truck stick. Our wide receivers are way more wide receiver like this year.
Way wider.
Kind of the gimmick. And the gimmick for this one is gravity.
Okay.
So you go over a blue strip. There's this strip, and then suddenly the tires on your cart will flip, and now they are gravity defying. So you can turn sideways, upside down, kind of stuff.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think it's fun because it adds a lot of like, there's like more shortcuts and things like that. Like you can find some area that if you have your anti-gravity on, that you can drive up to, and suddenly you hit a bunch of speed bursts and things like that. So I'd say that's the gimmick. Like before was Double Dash. That was the. I don't really remember there being one for just Wii, Mario Kart Wii.
I don't know. I just played it a couple weeks ago, but I can't remember.
Other than that, though, it's just like there are things like the customizations for playing. I mean, that hasn't been in a series where it's like you can customize all the power-ups that are there. You can customize pretty much everything before a race. So that's nice. I mean, that's just not been in any game.
Yeah.
The graphics are really nice. It is a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell what generation it is. I don't see, it would look a little bit better if it was on the PS4. I don't see anything like that.
Right. Now, when you play, like, with the Wii U controller, do you use it like a steering wheel, like with the axes or the gyros in there controlling how you drive, or do you use like the analog stick to control?
I mean, if you're a total noob, you do the steering thing. But
I mean, it's an option to like, grab it.
Yes,
act
that
like
is
it's a
still
wheel.
an option.
Okay.
No, but true Mario Kart players don't do that crap. I'm a power slider also.
If you can't see this, Dan is rolling his eyes at you this entire time if you do those things.
All of you. They've also got some new weapons that I think are pretty cool. The piranha plant is like all of a sudden this huge piranha plant comes off the top of your cart, and it just starts stretching out. And if there are no other drivers in the area, it will just start stretching forward to give you speed boosts. Or if you drive by someone, it will just reach out and knock them out or something like
Nice.
that. It's kind of cool. There's also a defense now for the blue shell, because a lot of people hate the blue shell. And there's kind of like a horn. It sends out this shockwave, and that will destroy the blue shell, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Menu, everything is just smooth. I think it's solid. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's deserving of a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I don't think it doesn't raise this excitement in me that it's like a new property would. There's just an expectation, and as long as they deliver on that and more, it's awesome. That's it.
Yeah. Cool.
One thing I will add, and this isn't a bad thing. This is I think Nintendo has more going on for it with this Miiverse than what I initially realized what it was. I think Miiverse is pretty cool, actually.
How so?
Well, it's kind of it's social networking kind of stuff built into the Wii U, and the 3DS also with street passing and all that stuff. But you've got your community of friends. You've got, I see things from people that aren't my friends.
Yeah.
But you can post messages and use the gamepad to draw. Like a lot of people are just drawing little things right now. There's a ton of just amazing drawings that people do on their gamepads.
Right.
And I'd say a lot of them look like, say, MS Paint, drawing.
Yeah.
But you know what people can do with MS Paint.
Right.
And it is really cool.
Yeah.
They have the same kind of like a Google one up something like or a like button. They do that. They call it yeah, which is kind of funny. You can that. Yeah. But you've got your notifications, and you go in. You can just cycle through those and see videos that people posted and those kind of things. And I like it. I think Sony is doing a little bit of that too. You can go into the sort of a feed thing and see what your friends are playing and see what they're doing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they do.
I think Nintendo just needs to put it a little bit more in the foreground. Right now, you have to go into your little notifications part on the menu, and then you can see all that stuff. I think it needs to get more in front of everyone.
Honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about that. The always letting people know what you're doing on your system. Sometimes I just don't want to broadcast that I'm online or I'm playing this game, and people are like, "Oh, I saw you playing that earlier." It's like, well, okay.
Well, as long as there's an option to turn it off, I think.
Yeah.
I feel that way about Netflix. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny, I see you've been watching porno again on Netflix.
Hey, Mom.
Oh, all my Facebook friends can see. Great.
Shouldn't have connected that account.
Bikini Beach Babes 3. But yeah, I just I started dabbling with that a little bit this week, and yeah, I liked it. It was cool.
Cool.
Also started Far Cry 3 with the announcement that Far Cry 4 is coming out. I thought I'd check it out, and holy crap,
The verdict?
it hooked me.
Yeah.
I love the plot, the setup,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me realize I love other things with similar plots and setups. It's the stranger in a strange land kind of setup where, have you heard of the movie Tourista? Or The Ruins, I think it's called?
I have seen The Ruins.
Those types of things where a bunch of like crazy American kids
Yeah.
go to this land that's so tropical and fun and free, and then the locals, one of the locals, like lures them into this underground sex trafficking.
Just a fun romp like that.
Or that kind of thing where it's like, or black market organ stealing.
Like, I mean, Lost.
Sort of like that, but so all the kids are having a good time just partying on the normal like beach. This is where just everyone goes. But they want something that, can only be experienced. And one of the locals is like, "Hey buddy, you wanna really party?
Are they in Canada?
I'll show you where the party is. Come this way. I'm gonna lure you this way."
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then suddenly they wake up and their liver's gone.
Yeah.
I love that.
Full of ice.
I love that setup.
Yeah.
So Far Cry 3 is similar. Like, it just starts out with a bunch of partying. Like, your brothers and, your girlfriends are all there and you're all partying.
Yeah.
And then, bam, you are a prisoner somewhere in the jungle and you're being held hostage.
Nice.
Love it. So, yeah, otherwise, I think it's a first-person shooter. Pretty good. There's hunting, stuff like that.
Pretty standard in all
standard, good, fun. Yeah, but it's just the whole plot that hooked me. I really liked it. So
super cool. Is that on the PC or?
Yes, Reese PC. Yeah, so it pulled me in.
Cool.
And I'll keep playing it. Also played Transistor. So this is from the creators of what is that first game they made? Bastion. Bastion.
Okay.
Yes. Creators of Bastion. Awesome art style. It's kind of an RPG game.
Mm-hmm.
It is an RPG game. Very interesting battle system. I like it.
How so?
Diablo, how you assign attacks to your numbers?
Right.
So, like, number 1 has a certain attack, number 2. It does sort of that thing. All right?
Okay.
Then there's also, you can combine them with other things that you unlock.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. But it does something beyond that where you pause the game, you like hit spacebar or whatever button.
Yeah.
And you have this bar, this energy bar, where you can use it to chain then your attacks. So you pause the game, you're like, all right, I'm going to move here, do this move, then do this move, and move here.
Yeah.
And you've got that bar then that you can utilize whatever it takes to be able to do those things.
Okay.
Then you unpause it, and then it goes to real time and performs those moves. Pretty cool.
That's cool. I mean, do you play it mostly in real time, or are you always like stopping to sort of strategize?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that you just stop and strategize. I'd say you just you stop, chain this together. Now I want to do this, and now I want to do this. You can put more thought into it if you want, but it's still kind of like Diablo in that sense. It's just like you're queuing up though. All right, I'm going to do this, then this, move here. And then you let it roll. And then your energy starts kind of building back up again, you do it again. Or you can do it live also. You don't have to pause time, but it's nice to do that when you've got multiple enemies attacking.
Right.
So you want to take this one out and then move over and hit this one with this attack.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing is just like the way you combine additional attacks that you receive. So one thing that I have is just a dash.
Mhm.
All right, so I assign dash to number 4. So when I hit 4, I dash. Well, I got this upgrade that I could assign to any of my attacks. I
Mhm.
could assign it to my normal, just strike with my sword attack, or there's another one where I send a kind of like a shockwave through a multiple line of enemies,
Yeah.
and then I have the dash. The upgrade that I received was that it would turn the enemy on my side that they would start attacking others. So
Okay.
I assign that to my dash. And whenever I move through someone with the
Mhm.
dash, they suddenly join my team
Oh,
and
cool.
start fighting.
Yeah.
Now I could have assigned that to any of them.
Right. You get
Another
some
one
cool
is
combos going on there.
yeah. Another one is like a ricochet that I attack one person, it will bounce off that person and then hit other people too.
Yeah.
And I assigned that one to my kind of my line attack, that shockwave attack.
Mhm.
And so it's cool that way, and you're just gonna unlock more and more and more,
Yeah.
and those upgrades. And I think you can assign right now. It looks like you can assign 2 additional special, abilities to an attack.
Mhm.
It's cool. Right now, it's you're not sure what's going on in the game. You're not sure. I think the story unravels as you play more and more. It's
Mhm.
not like Far Cry where all right, you have to go rescue so and so or something like that.
Right.
It's like, you're not sure what's going on.
Mhm.
Why is this sword talking to me? It seems there's something with souls. Somehow you collect souls in a way, and I think that's what some of the attacks or the upgrades are too. It's like
Okay.
you're adding souls to the sword, so
Uh-huh.
it's kind of weird that way, and it's just unraveling more and more as I play. I don't like it.
Nice. Sounds cool. It looks really nice too. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
like,
a beautiful game.
yeah.
It's a cheap game too, and I like it. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep playing it, and I don't think it's very long either. I'm not sure, but I
Mhm.
need to double check on howlongtobeat.com, one of my favorite websites.
Yeah, I like I've told you before on the show that like I sort of judge the caliber of a game by its length,
Yeah,
and I've started to pull back a bit from that just because I start lining up too many long games. It's just
yeah.
like you just don't have enough hours in the day to finish those.
And I'm you know, what's your sweet spot for length?
If I'm doing like a straight up RPG, then I would say like I would expect about 30 to 40 hours. Depending on the style of it. Like I think Mass Effect was maybe like 20 to 30, something like that.
Okay. Now,
Um,
I like games that are probably 12 hours is my sweet spot. I love a game
mhm.
that's 12 hours. I don't
Yeah.
feel overwhelmed then, like I'm overcommitting myself.
Yeah.
So like Tomb Raider, 12-hour game.
Yeah.
I will beat that this year for sure.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Last of Us was about maybe 15 hours, something like
Mhm.
that for me. And so yeah, that's kind of my thing. I know pretty early on whether it's going to hook me or not, and then that's just I feel satisfied with a game if it's
Yeah.
that long.
Yeah. I think for me it's totally like what my expectation is based on what genre the game comes from. If it's an action game, like then I'll expect to spend, maybe 12 to 15 hours. If it's RPG, then I would expect to get 30 to 40 hours.
Yeah.
If it deviates too much from that, then I'm like, I wish I hadn't spent $60 to play for 5 hours.
Now, like A Link Between Worlds, I think was about 20 to 24 hours for me to beat,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that felt good to me.
Okay.
When if it exceeds Skyrim was just about right.
Hmm.
It took me a while to beat, but that was 40 hours.
Yeah.
I'd probably say for a long RPG, 30 hours is probably the sweet spot for me. I
Right.
cannot do a 70-hour game.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
I think it's like if I get my hooks into a real like Skyrim, I put a ton of hours into, and I just never got bored of it. Like I could
Yeah.
keep going back to it. I think there's something about JRPGs. While I like them, there's something at a certain point where I get tired of random encounters and like that same style of combat over and over and over.
Yeah.
Because it takes time to go through the combat, and too much time when I know how to do it really quickly. So,
So what have you been playing?
I played some arcade games a bit this week.
Oh, wow.
We talked about going to see X-Men. So we had 2 hours to kill before the movie started, and like downstairs there's this big arcade with DDR and rhythm games and well just other random arcade games. And so yeah, we spent a couple hours playing like it's a DDR ripoff. I mean, we didn't play this for the whole 2 hours, but there's a DDR ripoff that I don't know if you've seen this. Dance Dance Revolution has like the arrows are pointing like straight up and down or straight left and right.
Yes.
But in this, I'm sure it's because of copyright issues. They change it so it's going toward the diagonals. So
Okay.
right, left, and right, left on the bottom, and then there's a center button you can hit, which is fine if you get used to it that way, but not fine if you get used to playing regular Dance Dance Revolution, because you constantly want to go for like straight up and down, and it just gets really confusing in your head.
Yeah. And I'm thinking dance moves too. Typically, left, right,
right.
forward, back. Not
Yeah.
right corner, left, back corner.
Yeah. It feels like it takes more brain power to process like right diagonal, left diagonal, like
Yeah.
all the. But it was still fun, and my girlfriend beat me most of the time, and I'm usually pretty good at DDR. So, but she was saying like the same thing when she went to the U.S. Excuse me. She had the opposite reaction to playing regular DDR. Was she was used to the diagonals, and
Oh,
it messed
really?
her up. Yeah.
So it's more popular there in the SK?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen regular DDR here.
Oh.
Always
What is it
diagonal
called?
DDR.
There.
I don't remember.
Oh.
Don't know.
Rip off
So we did that.
DDR.
We played. What's that?
Rip off DDR.
Yeah. So we did that. We played some other rhythm games there, so that was cool. I haven't been
Cool.
to an arcade in a while. Also played. I think I've got about 2.5 to 3 hours into Pokemon Y, and I got my first gym badge. Got my bug badge.
Nice. So you're like a
gym
Boy
leader.
Scout in the game, sort of?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
All right.
It is. It's straight up Pokemon. Sorry, Pocket Monster.
That's
Monster.
right.
The game that I was used to. It does. I think it translates really well into 3D. And the battles look really cool. It feels like it's finally been brought up to date. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever played it, it's basically the same. They haven't really changed it over the years, aside from adding different monsters. So,
You know what you need to do?
what's that?
Nino Kuni, I think, is $5 right now to download on the PS3. At least just go buy it, and don't download it until you get your PS3.
Just have it hang out.
Yeah, because $5.
Yeah.
It's an amazing game, and
Yeah.
I think you'd like it.
Cool. I've got my PS3 back in the States.
Yeah.
But yeah, so continuing on with that, I think maybe I sort of overdid it because I got Bravely Default and Pokemon, and they're both very much JRPG style games.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I've already played a lot of Bravely Default, and then to immediately jump into Pokemon where it's the same kind of thing, it's hard
You
to
get
keep
kind of
going.
burned out on that style of game.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna take a little bit of a break and come back to it.
Yeah.
So did that, and on your recommendation, played Tiny Dice Dungeon.
Yeah, I've still been playing Tiny Dice.
Yeah, it's a fun little game.
Yeah, I'm impressed with it.
Yeah, you're right. Like there is that meter of exhaustion, or I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, your hero is rested. It will come back
Yeah,
and say.
yeah. I haven't gotten to a point where I have to stop and then come
I'm
back
not
to
sure if it impacts anything else. If it impacts like maybe like if you're not rested, then you can't do as much damage. I'm not sure what it impacts. I've
right.
not hit that point yet.
Yeah.
So
Um, but yeah, it's cool. I like the whole dice construction thing. You're rebuilding a town, and so much of it. It's funny because I came off of playing Bravely Default not too long ago, and like in the same thing in Bravely Default, you're rebuilding a town that was destroyed. In this game,
yeah.
you're rebuilding a town. In this game, you can choose. I feel like it's sort of got that Brave and Default mechanic where you can continue to roll the dice. You can roll it for as many times as you get lucky to not roll a one.
Yeah.
Um, so in the same way, you can do that in Bravely Default. And so there's so many like correlations between the two games. It's funny, but yeah, I thought it was cool. You can construct the different types of dice and
It
keep rolling if
takes
you
a
feel lucky.
while though before you can open up an additional like a fourth die spot.
Yeah,
You have to hit like level 25 and that takes a while.
yeah. I think I've only got 3. Still.
Yeah, I've only got 3.
Yeah.
I think I'm level 10 at this point, something like
Mhm.
that. So
Yeah.
gotta keep on rolling.
Cool. But yeah, that's a fun little game. I think it's on all devices, all
And it's
smartphone
free
platforms. Yeah.
too, so
It
it's
is free.
definitely worth a pickup.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, that's it. Let's go on to some news. Okay, everybody, there's some stuff that's been going on this week that we want to talk about in the news. And we're just going to talk about the news like this for the rest of the show. So, Valve Early Access devs may be unable to finish their games.
Won't you tell me about that?
Did you hear about this? This is unbelievable. So it's really not. It's something that we've been talking about all the time, actually, is that when you purchase an early access game,
Mm-hmm.
there is the potential that they may not finish the game.
That sounds ridiculous.
That's absurd, but it is a possibility. And
Mhm.
it looks like Valve has updated an FAQ. You know what that is?
Frequently asked queries.
Yeah.
Queries.
Yeah, so this is something we've known, and now Valve's kind of addressing it more because there's been a couple of debacles with early access games,
Mhm.
and they don't want to have to give people their money back for every game that doesn't get finished or isn't what it doesn't live up to what was promised.
Right.
So they're just kind of covering their tushies.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting too because they specifically mentioned the game Towns, which was recently the developer was just like, look, I'm not making enough money on this to make it worth my while, so I'm just gonna stop. And again, it was one of their first green-lit games, and I bought this game.
Oh, did you? How much
Yeah,
did you
I
pay
got
for it?
Towns. I paid the $15 for it.
Oh, 15
yeah.
bucks, dude.
It had like a lot of people were talking about it. It looked fun, and after I got into it a bit, like it showed a lot of potential for being really cool. And I thought at the time, I mean, I've had it for a while. It seemed like it could be developed into a really fun game, like the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy just decided to peace out, and I was looking through the comments on this, and it's like, well, I hope he doesn't plan on ever making another game under his name because nobody is going to trust that he's going to finish it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bet at some point there's gonna be some real backlash, like against people, against individuals if they do this stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause
there's
your
this
name is
whole-
out there,
Yeah.
and there is someone that is insane enough. You're going to piss off the wrong person.
Yeah. I
Ugh.
don't know. It's too bad, especially because there's been such a surge in indie development. They're really sort of giving themselves a bad name by charging people like a good amount of money and then not delivering.
Yeah. That's crazy that he just gave up like that too. I mean, I understand, but it's like sometimes you just gotta do it, grind, and even if it doesn't, you're not making any money back, you just gotta get your stuff done. And
Right.
it's not really necessarily the first thing that gets you the cash and the recognition, or gets you the money.
Right.
But it might lead to something else. Like if he makes a really good game, maybe he didn't make any money on it, but
Right.
he might get some recognition that will lead to his next project being
Right.
a guild mine.
I mean, like, honestly, the thing is, the game, there were some problems with it, but I feel like he could have just said, like, called it done after finishing, like, the bugs that he came across. I mean, it's been a while since it was out. Like, I would have thought he could have taken care of any major issues and then just said, like, this is the game. I'm done developing it. And then moved on to something else. And I
Yeah.
don't think, like, I wouldn't have been really upset because it felt like it was far enough along. But,
Or
yeah,
get some help. See if somebody
Yeah.
else wants to help.
Yeah.
Dummy. Also, this week, Microsoft released drivers for the Xbox One controller. You can now use the Xbox One controller on your PC.
Yay.
I am tempted.
Yeah?
I'm tempted to pick one up and just see how it goes.
How much are those bad boys? 70
they're
bucks?
something like that. Yeah, I've seen them on sale, though. I've seen them on sale for like 45, I think.
Yeah.
So
If it just like is an update to my already wonderful experience with the 360 controller, then I would like that, but I can't see myself dropping 70 bones on it.
general consensus, I will not drop 70 bones on it. That will not happen. It will have to be on sale for like 45 bucks before I
Right.
buy it.
Right.
But general consensus is that it takes what the 360 controller did and, makes it better. A little better. Not
Yeah.
a lot better.
Yeah.
Not worth $70 better. But, yeah.
Cool.
Also, an update to the Xbox 360 came out this week. And generally, I don't care. I don't care about the external storage or the real name stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I do care about, though, is that Netflix, Hulu, all of those video services are now in front of the paywall.
Yeah.
The Xbox
That's what
Live
brought-
Gold. So already instant impact for me. I am no longer an Xbox Live subscriber.
Mhm.
I felt like it lost its value. And when PS Plus came out, I was just like, that is just a better experience, a better value.
Mhm.
I'm going to be a PS Plus member. So I quit the Xbox Live, went over to PS Plus, and I'm just not going to go back.
Yeah.
And basically, we talked about last week, not using my 360.
Mhm.
There was no need. I mean, I couldn't watch anything on it. At that point, there just wasn't any games I wanted to play until my situation with the little Bambino and wanting to bring a console into the bedroom.
Yeah.
Then I finally had popped it back in. I started playing. I played Skyrim. I'm almost done with Gears of War 2, and I wanted to watch Netflix on it.
Yeah.
I was just like, hey, might as well watch some Netflix, some Hulu, some Amazon. Couldn't, because I wasn't an Xbox Live subscriber.
That
And then
sucks.
finally yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, the update came out, and now I can, and I'm happy.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. I think
Only thing I'm not happy about, though, is that, again, it's like, yeah, it's nice to be able to stream all that stuff, but it sucks to have to hear a jet engine roaring every time I want to watch something.
Yeah. You slowly lose your hearing the more you play the 360.
I'm already blind in one eye.
Yeah. No, I think they've made some smart decisions recently with getting rid of the Kinect and then adding the Netflix and Hulu outside of the membership necessity. So
They're still just playing catch up, though. Isn't it's so
Yeah.
weird how they got behind so quickly.
yeah.
Sony just recently announced, hey, we're going to give away 2 games on each system we have out
Right.
from now on. And so, Microsoft is still just like, they're giving away games that I can't remember if it was like Battlefield 3 or Saints Row 3 or something like that they're going to give away. And it's like, Sony gave that away a year ago,
Yeah, that's
guys.
old. Yeah.
So, blah.
Hmm.
And then finally, this is an interesting story, I think, and I was actually going to put it on the show notes and saw that you already did.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that GOG, Good Old Games? I think they're just GOG now, though. I don't know that they refer to themselves as Good Old Games anymore. They're launching their own PC platform, kind of like a Steam client.
Right.
Um,
With a twist.
with a twist, there's no DRM.
Yeah.
I'm cool with this.
Yeah.
It annoys me a little, only because it's yet another one.
Yeah.
I've got Uplay, I've got Origin, I've got Steam, I've got what is Blizzard's called? Battle.net? Is
Battle.net,
it?
yeah.
Battle.net?
Yeah.
All of those are running on my computer.
Yeah.
That's too many.
I've only got Battle.net and Steam running. I don't have anything that requires Origin. I think Uplay has tried to install itself, but I never allow it.
Some of them you have to have Uplay though to be able to play. Like
Yeah.
even the Ubisoft games that you buy in Steam, you have to it will then open Uplay.
That's dumb.
It blows.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. I mean, they get a bigger cut having their own service, not having to. But.
And I
what
understand
bugs
why.
the shit out of
That's
everybody.
it. It's just like, oh, great. I have all these applications running,
Yeah.
and if I want to play games. You know what, though? A lot of people trash Uplay. I actually like the interface of Uplay. I like the experience of Uplay. I think it's pretty and it's kind of cool. People trash it though, but I think it looks better than Steam.
Yeah.
It's like a better user experience than Steam, but
Right.
I'm never knocking Steam.
I've never been overly fond of the way Steam has laid out everything. I think it's always just been like such a good value.
Yeah.
And they've always had by far the most available games. So it's sort of like you have to use it, and it's not bad. It's just like it's not impressive.
I think their storefront needs an update at this
Yeah.
point. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
I actually started though putting shortcuts to other games, so I downloaded some games from Good Old Games, and I started putting then shortcuts to those games in Steam because I'm always in Steam.
Right.
So
right.
I just want to open up all my games. I put my Uplay games, I put my Origin games. They're all in Steam. It might open up that other client, but that way I don't have to just manually go open up the other one. I have Steam open. If I want to play Titanfall, I go to Titanfall in Steam and I hit play. And that's kind of cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Like I've gotten games off Good Old Games, and I can't quite remember where I've gotten it, and so I'm always just looking to Steam because I assume that I probably got it through there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's always open. So.
And I forget about. I mean, this will help because I forgot. Oh yeah, I have the complete Space Quest series. Well, I had it in Good Old Games, and I just went in there. And I was like, oh yeah, I've got these games. I got the whole Zork anthology and all this stuff. So
yeah.
So that's it for news. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, it is totally, totally optional. Like, this is not a necessary thing that they're making people do. It's like
it's just
it gives
convenience.
a little bit of value, and there's some networking thing with friends you can do. But he said, by no means is this necessary to play their games ever.
It's just a nice option to have. Easy to maybe shop for games there. Probably look through their catalog of games.
Sure.
Easier to install the games that you own. Those kind of things. Some people like having a client.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, that's it for news. Let's move on to the retro game of the week. All right, so this week's retro game of the week is Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
I love this game.
Me too.
This is one of the most moving games I've ever played. I would say it has since been trumped by The Last of Us.
Okay.
But this was for the PlayStation, the original PlayStation.
Sure was.
And it was released September 7th, 1997.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. So the character in Final Fantasy VII is Cloud Strife. He's so cool, and he's got such cool, like, iconic Final Fantasy hair.
Yeah.
And he's a mercenary who joins an eco-terrorist rebel organization called Avalanche to stop the world controlling mega corporation Shinra from draining the life of the planet for use as energy source. So you're following that team. You've got a group of pretty cool people. Mr. T is with you.
Yeah.
And there's kind of like
you got both hands because they didn't have enough polygons.
There's kind of a Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker thing going on with Sephiroth. So I like it. It does not hold up very well as far as like the graphics and stuff.
Yeah,
those graphics are terrible.
Not at all. Yeah.
I wish it was a sprite game. This game needs to be, remade. It really does. So the experience, so people start playing. But it's a pretty cool game, and it had a bunch of kind of spin-off games and a movie actually too.
Yeah.
Was it?
It was a short movie, wasn't it?
I think it was shorter. I'm not sure.
I keep wanting to say like The Spirits Within, but that was totally different.
That was totally different and was basically not Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But I would say The Spirits Within isn't as bad as people think. It's just not a good Final Fantasy movie.
Yeah. It had nothing to do with Final Fantasy games.
Yeah. So yeah, check it out if you haven't played it. It's a good JRPG, so it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of another show.
That was it. We talked a lot in the beginning about non-video games.
Yeah, Marvel Dice Master, the Marvel Dice Master show.
Yeah. It's cool.
So, yeah, but we're gamers. It's not just video games, and we're also nerds. We're not just video game nerds.
All the way.
So let's take it away with these closers and plugs.
Cool. You can email us at podcast@uphshow.com.
We're on Twitter, and our handle is @uphshow.
Also, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/uphshow.
We're on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. Please rate, review, subscribe.
And go to our Steam group, Unbelievable Power Hour.
I'm Dan DeHaan. I have a website, dandehaan.com, and I'm on Twitter @dandehaan78.
And my website is aaronwiesinger.com. My Twitter handle is @awiesinger.
And finally, you can watch our podcast, some of our video game videos and stuff like that, on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/UPHshow. All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
And done.
Stop.